Good afternoon. So we're going to do it again. Today's topic is going to be about multi-packs. Now, multi-packs were, of course, a way to get multiple figures with one either order or in one box or one package or whatever. There's a lot of different kinds of multi-packs that are out there. And so we're going to go over as many as I can from the U.S. perspective. I'm not going to go over, for example, the Canadian multi-packs or the German multi-packs. I'm just going to go over just basic U.S. stuff. And I may even miss some of them, but this is just kind of a general overview of the different kind of multi-packs that are out there, or that were out there, I should say. Now, the one thing that's very, very important to distinguish in multi-packs is, you have basically, well, where did you get them? Okay, meaning, did they come from Kenner? Did they come from a catalog? And that really can kind of distinguish a lot of the features of the multi-packs. For example, a lot of the catalog multi-packs have been mistakenly referred to as mailers or catalog mailers or something of that nature, and that's actually incorrect. And the reason why it's incorrect is because there's not a catalog multi-pack with a shipping label on it, meaning you would order it from the catalog, but they would mail it in a shipper box, and then within that shipper box they would have the multi-pack. So that's just kind of something to distinguish when you're talking about multi-packs. Now, the true mailers were ones that actually had address labels on them. And so, of course, we all know the story of, Kenner getting the license, Kenner not being able to produce any physical figures by the time Christmas rolled around, but they did have the early bird certificate. So you mail in the certificate, and guess what? Then they mailed you back directly from Kenner the group for the early bird. And so that was really the first multi-pack. Okay, so it's this thing here. And so this was the early bird set, comes with the catalog, the 4 figures, the pegs, and the box. And, the box themselves had an address level. So this was truly the first mailer because it was direct from Kenner. And it did have an addressed box to it. So of course, this set actually did go through some transitions. The baggy types have changed. This is a DT Luke one. They did actually have one that had a non-DT Luke in it. They had the transition bag being the Star Wars C baggy. But anyways, there's a lot of different combinations that people put together to complete their first Star Wars mailer early bird kits. So this was the first one. This is a true mailer. But anyways, so that was the first multi-pack. The first thing that went out was a group of 4 figures that we could get. Now, of course, along the way, there were other types of multi-packs that you could get. And I'm going to have a heavy emphasis on Fett because I have a lot of Boba Fett stuff. So I'm going to, a lot of the stuff I'm going to highlight is going to involve Fett, but you'll get the general idea about them. And so one of the things that Kenner developed also are department store programs. And this were the sort of the special offer sets, whether it was a vehicle that came with 2 figures, whether it was the 3 packs, whether even the die cast were special offer, and it just means they were special offers. There was nothing special about it necessarily except for the packaging. But anyway, so this was another type of multi-pack, which were the 3 packs. Of course, as I said, I'm going to emphasize Fett. So, here's the cast of characters. The funny thing about this combination is that it actually can fit into the Mandalorian storyline that we have today. So I always think that's kind of funny. But this was another way of getting multiple figures in one package. This was, of course, the Series 2 of the Star Wars series. They did go through also sets in The Empire Strikes Back. This is just another 3-pack multi-pack that was in the ESB. There was a total of 16 of these. two of which are extraordinarily hard to get that involve some Bespin figures. But anyways, but you can look, there's plenty of information on 3-packs and the rarity of these things are not cheap. These have been pretty costly over the years. But this was another way of getting multiple figures in one package. These were at Sears mainly. And so there's another kind of multi-pack. Another kind of multi-pack where you could get multiple figures involved the Vader cases. Okay, so you know that here's a big one. The Vader case, there were two sets of bagged figures that could come with the Vader case. Now, believe it or not, the Vader case itself was originally a mailer, meaning that it was shipped in its own case, did not have this sleeve on it back in 1980. It just came with the case and a brown shipping box. And so it was a mailer, but it wasn't a multi-pack. Okay. So anyways, so then there's actually several iterations of the Vader case. The first one that actually had the sleeve that went to stores was a 31 back. This was the second one that was released, and it had the 3 baggies, FET, IG, and of course Bosk. The baggie for the IG-88 is probably the most sought after one, which is the ESB B baggie that has the actual white and blue Kenner logo on it. That was thought to only be contained in this case. And that makes kind of a dilemma when you get a sealed one of these, because it's almost as if you want to open it to find out if you have the magic baggie. It's almost like the golden ticket for Willy Wonka. But anyway, so they released this. This was a very short release. And then they released a 32 back sleeve, no figures. And the next one was a 41 back, no figures. And then there was a 41 back that had 3 figures. Another multi-pack, which was Vader, Luke Bespin, and Yoda. And then the rest of the releases there didn't have any figures. So this was, again, another way to get, or another multi-pack where you could get multiple figures. And in these cases, the 2 Vader cases that contain bag figures. And so, anyways, this is a pretty rare piece. One of my favorites that I will say at this point, I don't own anymore, even though I have it in my hand. But anyways, that's a story for another time. All right. So now we get into probably the most, how would I put it, wide variety of multi-packs that are out there. And these are the ones that were available in the multiple different store catalogs. Okay. So there were really 5 big retailers that offered catalog multi-packs. Okay, you have Sears. Sears is the one that started it. JCPenney, Montgomery Ward. And then you have 2 big catalog services that were in the U.S. You have Spiegel and Alden's. Okay. Now, all these companies, except for JCPenney, were started in the 1800s, because that was how people got supplies, meaning that you would have a catalog full of stuff, whether it was hardware, clothes, toys, whatever it may be, and then you filled out your order, you sent it in, and guess what? UPS, even back then in the 70s, or USPS would send you all the stuff. Now, as I mentioned before, these were often, or have often been referred to as mailers, but they're not mailers. They're multi-packs. They were mailed, but they never had an address label on them. They were just put in a shipping box. You open the box and, hey, there's your multi-packs. Okay, and so this was basically the Sears wish book. Now, I don't know about you or anybody else, but I spent hours looking at these things. And they were the catalogs that had all of the great fashion. Anyways, so if you ever have a chance to pick up one of these, pick it up, because it is a trip down memory lane. Anyways, well, this was the first sort of layout in the Sears wish book, 1978. And you see over here, basically different sets of figures. These were the multi-packs that were offered during 78. Now, the ones they first offered were, of course, the creatures that were included in the Cantina set, which was a Sears special. Now, all of the Star Wars catalog multi-packs were either white or brown. Very boring. Most just had a label with a number on them. They weren't labeled. There were no proofs of purchase. But that's how we'd get them. You'd look in the catalogs, and then there they were. You'd order them up, and you would get them. This is actually the 79 Wish book, and same kind of thing. We'll look at the layout. And here it is. You can see they have the groups of the figures, and you just order, and you'd get the multi-pack. Okay. Now you could either pick these up in the store. There was actually there was a small store, like a surplus store at Sears. You could pick those up there. But that's how they came. You saw them in the catalog. You wrote down the number, and then you'd get them. Now what they look like. So here is a sealed catalog multi-pack. You can see the basically plain white sticker, and it would have a catalog number. Now, each of the stores had their own catalog numbers. So, for example, all the ones that begin in 49, those were all the Sears. The Montgomery Ward was 48. J.C. Penney had a number of 3-digit prefix numbers. Spiegel had 57T and 85, and then Alden's had an 85Y. Anyways, but they all, so when you see the number, you can go back and look through, you can search the heck out of the number and find out, well, what was in the pack. Well, this is a sealed pack. This is actually the Boba Fett and Luke X-Wing, okay? So this was the first Fett pack that was offered by Sears in 1979, okay? The other Fett multi-pack that was offered in terms of Fett was also in 79. It was offered by Penney's, Alden, and Spiegel, and that was this one. Okay, so you have, as you can see, Fett, of course, and then R5-D4, Luke X-Wing, and the Power Droid. They all came with a catalog, and there are many different catalogs for this. They have the original one that came with the multi-packs is the orange small Star Wars one, and then there were multiple after that, which we can go over. Now the numbers, like I said, this was actually released by 3 JCPenney, Alden's, and Spiegel, and you can see the numbers again. And as I said, all the JCPenney ones had a 3-digit prefix. This is a 924, and then the 85Y for Alden's, and then the 57T for the Spiegel. Okay, so all these numbers apply to this particular combination. And so the interesting thing is that there were multiple combinations that were offered by multiple retailers that had basically multiple different numbers. And in fact, to think that there are 85 different multi-packs that were offered by the catalog companies. Now, there were also some that we'll talk about later that were not in the main catalogs, but came through advertisements in the mail, but we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so again, you can see for the Star Wars, it's this sort of brown box, or like I said, there was white boxes, but they didn't have anything, but usually had just the number on them. No proofs of purchase, no label of what's in the box. All right, and then you get into the next one. Montgomery Ward in 1980 offered, let me get it, let's see. This was the first Montgomery Ward multi-pack of Fett, and it was basically the infamous destroyer destroyer pack. This is Bosk, Fett, Vader, and of course IG-88. This is an ESBA baggie. Again, highly coveted, but not as coveted as the ESB baggie that was in the Vader case that we talked about earlier. All right. Now, the interesting thing about the Empire boxes is that this is where things started to change. So, for example, you can see on this Empire box, they actually label the contents of the box. On this one, there's no proofs of purchase, but some of them actually did provide proofs of purchase. And in limited quantities, there was actually what are called the line art boxes, which are blue and white. They got the drawings from the Kenner Repro art book and would apply them to the boxes. Those are highly sought after, highly valuable, rare. I would say between the U.S. and Canada, those are the ones that are most sought after in terms of the multi-packs. The two most famous are, of course, the Destroyer set and the 15-pack. But anyway, so that's kind of where the boxes started to change in the multi-packs was during the ESB era. Like I said, this was actually the first Montgomery Ward FET multi-pack that was offered. Okay. Now, believe it or not, J.C. Penney's first Boba Fett multi-pack was only offered by J.C. Penney, and it's probably, at least in my opinion, certainly one of the hardest multi-packs to put together, or at least find, and that was this one. Okay, so the contents of this, as you can see, are blonde-haired Bespin Luke, a regular large head Solo, Fett, and the Rebel Soldier. These are all in ESB-A baggies. These are very hard to find, especially for these two, which was the blonde Luke. The brown Luke is very easy to find. The blonde Luke is very hard to find. The large head Solo in the ESB-A baggie is next to impossible to find. But as you can see, once again, the box, it labels the contents that are in it. The interesting thing is, instead of Han Solo, it just says Hans. So that's what kind of makes it very unique. But anyways, so this is a very, very interesting pack. Very, very hard to find. And you can see the ESB or the Empire catalog that came with it. Again, this one has a label on it that's very interesting. This is also very unique for this pack. And it goes over all sort of the different classifications in the catalog for this multi-pack. So like I said, the Empire boxes, some of them had proofs of purchase. I don't have one. I don't have an example of that. But some of them did. Some of them have the line art, which are very hard to find, very valuable. But the boxes listed the contents. And so when when the ROTJ multi-packs came out, then they really started to, make boxes that were much more consistent. They actually started putting this label on all of the Return of the Jedi boxes. One of the things to note about this is it's got the red cape or the red cloak of Bib Fortuna, never offered in a multi-pack. So that's always very interesting. Some of the Star Wars multi-packs in the catalogs had pictures of the vinyl Cape Jawa, which was never included in a multi-pack, as well as on the original 15 pack of Sears, they had both the red and the blue Snaggletooth, but only the red Snaggletooth and Walrus Man was included, and the blue one was not. The blue one was included in some early 2-packs, as well as the Cantina Set 4-pack. Anyway, that's a lot to say. But this is kind of the stylized box of the Return of the Jedi multi-packs. You can see now it's got all the proofs of purchase on the side here. And the other thing is it has the list of the figures as well, and you can see the number. So 49 again, that's a Sears pack. And so this is an 8-pack, as you can see. This is a very hard one to also find as well as put together. This is also, of course, another Boba Fett pack. But anyways, this is a very nice pack. I really like this one. Now, as I said, there were some that were offered not in the catalogs, but in mailer advertisements. So, for example, if you had a Montgomery Ward credit card back in the day, there was, towards 82, 83, there was a little leaflet, little brochure that offered 3 multi-packs, okay? One of those multi-packs was indeed a FET multi-pack, and so of course I had to get it. It's funny, again, in the advertisement, in the print advertisement, it shows the red cloaked Bib Fortuna, and then of course when you ordered it, what did you get? Well, you don't get the red, you get the brown. So anyway, so this is one of these Montgomery Ward multi-packs that was only offered in a leaflet advertisement that most people received in their credit card statements. You can see the Jedi catalog. You can see the box here. Once again, it's 48, so you know it's Montgomery Ward. It's got the proofs of purchase on the box. And this one actually did not list the figures as they do on the normal ROTJ boxes. So that's what makes this 3-pack very unique, is that it wasn't included in the catalogs. It was only offered in a leaflet that you received in the mail. And so that's what makes this pretty rare. All right. Well, that's kind of kind of my rundown of multi-packs. I think the key thing to note here is that not all multi-packs are mailers. The true mailer multi-packs are really just the early bird set. The other catalog multi-packs didn't have a shipping label, so they were put in a box to ship out. So while you did get them in the mail, they're not mailers. Anyways, it's a small thing, but just something to remember. Now, in terms of the Boba Fett multi-packs, there's about 10 different unique combinations of figures. However, multiple catalogs offered them. And so there's multiple numbers that are associated with it, but only about truly 10 unique sets of figures. Anyways, that's all I have for now. Hope you guys are having a good afternoon. Hope that gave you a little bit of rundown on the difference between some of these multi-packs. Have any questions or anything, you can always message me. Anyways, y'all have a good day, stay safe, and we'll see you on the other side. Bye.